two people that I've been speaking a lot with recently, Hernan Bossi of Kantar Media, and Shane Hanson, who's Head of Insight and Innovation at Panasonic Consumer Electronics. So please put your hands together and welcome them to the stage. So, good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Let's run with that. Hey? This morning somewhere. My name is Sam. I look after our agendas and speakers here at Adwanted Events. You can tell it's been a fair few weeks for me. Look, I am joined today by Shane Hanson, Head of Insight and Innovation at Panasonic Consumer Electronics, and Hernan Bossi, who's the Account Director at TGI at Kantar Media, who works closely with Shane on fulfilling some of Panasonic's insight needs. So over the next kind of 15 minutes, we're going to be exploring some of the exciting projects that Panasonic has been involved in recent years to better understand your and target your consumer audiences. So, Shane, can you just tell me a bit about one, yourself, and two, Panasonic, to set the scene? Tell us a little bit about what your setup is internally. And I think Panasonic's a really interesting business, so it'd be good to understand a bit about the categories you operate in.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I am going to begin with when I was recruited into Panasonic. That was about 7 years ago, to set up the insight capability. And I don't know how many of you know, but Panasonic is a Japanese brand. And they are king in Japan. They are like Dyson, right? Whatever they launch, it just does extremely well. Panasonic is also a tech company, right? So the tech mindset is we develop the tech like some of the other well-known Korean brands. We develop the tech and it will sell. We will find the market. That works for certain categories, and their heritage is televisions, home entertainment, hi-fi audio systems, cameras, so all this hi-fi tech world that they lived in. And what was happening was the market in Europe was getting more and more competitive. There was entrance of cheap and cheerful Chinese brands, to be honest, and the Japanese brands, Sony, Panasonic, could feel the pressure of how do they survive in a competitive marketplace, especially in Europe, where they don't have the massive market share that they have in Asia and in Japan. And so the challenge became they wanted to develop new business opportunities, new categories for growth. They have a huge business in Japan for personal care devices, electrical devices, so like the likes of hair dryers or electric shavers. And I don't know if you know, but Panasonic, by volume, is the third largest manufacturer in the world for hair dryers. They have massive factories of hair dryers in Asia, be it Thailand, be it China, be it Japan, etc. And they're also the third largest manufacturer of electrical shaving devices, right, and hair clipping devices. And using that manufacturing heritage, I was brought into the business to develop a new business revenue stream, looking into expanding the personal care business in Europe. So that was my remit. But considering their heritage of tech, the challenge, and Japan being a very monoculture country, right? 99% of the population in Japan is Japanese. And so to launch an electric toothbrush or electric shaver or an electric hair dryer or hair styling device, they needed to understand the European audiences. And there's a huge diversity in Europe in terms of consumers. And so the challenge given to me when I was brought into Panasonic was, please help us develop the right insight in order to launch this new business.
Right, yeah. So it's not a case of just having everybody as your consumer then. It's like, how do you actually begin to figure out exactly who you need to talk to for all of these various different products that you have as Panasonic? So look, why insights? Why does Panasonic need insights, but why do the brands in the room need insights?
So I think insights helped us in Panasonic, and probably helps most brands in two big areas. So one is innovation or product development. So next generation product, what should it look like? What are the consumer needs? What are the unmet needs? Or what are their pain points? And how can products and brands evolve to meet these or solve these consumer problems? And the second one, where insight is super important. We've heard lots of talks so far, is finding your audiences, right? Yes, you can develop the product, but how do you go to market? How do you market your product? So the go-to-market strategy has to be insight-driven. And I'll give you a case study that I worked on from the beginning. It was on the development of a new men's grooming product that we launched very successfully in the UK and Europe. And the idea, we started idea generation 5 years ago, actually. And the two big insights that we got out of doing research in the UK market was, one is, in the world of electrical beauty devices, every device comes with a cable. So if there's a family of 4 and everyone's using an electric toothbrush, there are 4 cables in the household, right? If you're using an electric epilator, if you're using an IPL device, if you're using a hairdryer, a hair straight, everything comes with cables.
Yeah, my girlfriend hates my cable. I have a cable drawer sat under my bed, yeah.
And we did in-home interviews, actually, and we saw drawers full of cables. Actually, people didn't know which cable belonged to which product.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to see that. So we took that back. So as an we are a consumer electronics brand company, we saw that was a lot of waste in cables, right? So sustainability is big, but I mean, how do you make an electrical device sustainable? Can we reduce waste? So that was one. The second one, in the world of men's grooming electrical, you have Braun, you have Philips, the big brands, they launched a proposition called multi-grooming kit. And what they did was one big box, and they put lots of attachments, and you could have a beard trimmer and a shaver, everything in one. And the insight we had was that people actually use just 1 or maybe 2 of those attachments, and the rest of it sits in a drawer and eventually goes into the landfill. And so with this whole objective of finding an opportunity to simplify the life of a customer, reduce waste at the same time, and make it hassle-free, we developed a concept called modular grooming kit. And the idea is there's one base body, one cable, but you can buy an electric toothbrush head or a shaver head or a beard trimmer or even a hair clipper for those who cut their hair at home. So you could buy what you wanted and make it modular. And this has been extremely successful. We've launched it in the UK last summer. And right now I can say hand on heart, it is the second best-selling product in Boots in the world of men's grooming. So, but
that was because of the power of that insight.
Exactly, right. Exactly. And the insight worked. We don't have, and actually we are a challenger brand, I have to say that. In the UK, Panasonic is very, very small compared to the likes of Braun and Philips. So advertising budget isn't great. But if your product is based on insight, whatever you do, it will work because people just get it. They know that I don't need all that waste in my bathroom because it's not necessary. And I think we have a, do we have a
video?
Yeah, maybe.
One more.
Oh.
No,
press
no,
back.
back.
Yeah. And again.
No.
And green.
Yeah, so that's just a short clip, but
Brilliant.
You get the idea, right? Toothbrush, shaver, trimmer, hair clipper, whatever you want. And now we are developing the next generation of, attachments to come in. But it's doing very well, and Boots loves us, so I think we are right. Happy. We are happy.
Great. And so, look, what did Panasonic need from a partner, and why did that have to be Kantar?
I can take that one.
Yeah.
I think it needed to be a partner where they would see a strong, reliable reputation across the industry, working very consistently in delivering a robust data set with consumer behavior. And above all, and I think most importantly, was having a great culture in quality of client servicing. I think that's where we made a big difference. And that's where it happened that TGI with Panasonic was the perfect fit, was the perfect choice. Look, to be honest, we, at least in my team, we like to work in a way that we're not just switching on and off the access to the data and that's about it. We really like to be part of the action, take the conversations with them, with Panasonic, with Shane and the team, bring to the table our professional recommendation towards what we breathe in, day out in terms of insights and data. Be seen as an extension of their team. That's how Shane introduced us to the wider business as well. And honestly, we try to work in that way with many of our TGI clients, because that's where they find the value. That's where they see, like, yeah, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what we want. Sometimes it could be the opposite. They just want the switch on, be left alone. They have a big infrastructure, enough teams in research and insights, but they're always, nevertheless, they care about what we can bring to the element, to the equation.
Okay, and how do you, when we talk about insights, right, it's for product insights, media insights, how do you make sure that you're targeting the right audiences all the time, especially when, you know, the product categories that you're operating in could really target everybody, all male? So talk to me a little bit more about how you're choosing the targeting, how you're optimizing the targeting, what's going on there?
Yeah, so I think TGI, what the beauty of TGI actually for me as a user of TGI is we can do customer segmentation. So I give you an example, microwaves. So we are very big in the, you know, it's a big part of our business. Microwaves, bread makers, we are number one in the UK. 7 out of 10 of our microwaves are actually sold through John Lewis. So we do have some real good business going at the moment. But 95% of households, let's say in the UK, have a microwave. So that's almost the entire country. So for us, it's very important, and it was very important to understand or segment, because each segment has a different need, and how do we customize the marketing to these segments. So TGI allowed us to make segmentation. On the basis of that data, then we were able to actually also go back to TGI and map their shopper profiles. And finally, we were also able to get media profiles. So when we spoke to our media agencies, we were prepared with, this is our consumer, this is how they shop, this is where we are going to focus from a channel perspective. And by the way, here is their media, these are the media habits. So it gives us all that we need, you know, the 360 that I needed as an insight leader, I was getting from TGI. And microwave is a very, very good example. So during 22-23, what started happening, cost of living crisis, even energy prices went up. So we were able to identify opportunities to change our marketing campaigns or messages. And it became all about energy efficiency. And I don't know how many of you have been to Japan, but actually Japan, the houses there's a lot of wood used in the houses. They don't have built-in ovens like we have in Europe. They don't have them. What that means is, as a brand that originated in Japan, the microwaves that Panasonic actually developed can even do your Sunday roast. You can bake a cake in a microwave in 5 minutes. But the average audience in Europe is not really aware of that aspect, because we see microwave as something to heat the food in, full stop. But it comes from a country like Japan, where they don't have built-in ovens. So it does everything, but people didn't know that. So then we use the combination of the cost of living crisis and the cost of the energy going up and our efficiency messaging. The time taken to do a Sunday roast, for example, is half in a microwave compared to a built-in oven. So we generated the data, and we roasted a lot of chickens. And we baked cakes. Oh my God, we are baking cakes all the time in the microwave. So every new mix that comes, for example, you know, Sainsbury's own range and Tesco's own range, we've actually hired a chef in the office to just test all of the. Can we still bake those cakes in our microwave?
Is this still about insights, or do you just want to?
No. This is about insight. This is about.
Just trying to sell
like,
some products.
We were able to combine that. No, the efficiency of the device is probably not understood by the wider audiences. So can we make one campaign that goes nationwide that people get the message? And so that's what we did, and I think I have it here.
No.
The next one.
One more.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Play. Alexa, play.
Oh.
So you're taking the insight into the product, but then it's also going through to the media placement and how your messaging
Exactly,
goes to
the
consumers.
messaging
Right.
was optimized for our audience.
Because you know that the audience are price
And
sensitive.
TGI
or
was there
energy
to
sensitive.
back
Yeah.
our decision.
Right,
I think
okay.
that is key, is like that, yes, we were able to use TGI to understand, okay, no, this will work.
Right, okay.
Yeah, for me to add on top of those Shay comments, I mean, I think it was key for us in TGI to first of all adapt and become flexible, just to setting some context, right? So initially we had to work on those contract terms, the T's and C's, the duration of the contract. We normally work on 12 month licenses. And when Shane we first met, she came to us on a 6-month project, working on a business category, you know, like, and she had a 6-month budget. Those 6 months turned into another 6 months, into another 12 months, and here we are, 2 years later. But where we succeeded was we managed to deliver those diversity of understanding the different markets, because we managed to cover the Great Britain market, we managed to cover Europe with TGI Europa on the 4 main markets where Panasonic has a very strong presence. And we developed trainings, we developed a continuous bi-weekly calls and those ways of working that nurture the relationship. I think we have a few images as well on, if you need to go back,
Yeah.
on workshops that we produce. And this was a fantastic, I mean, we're actually having another workshop with Panasonic in Oxford in May. But this was a great example of how it became very diversity as on a whole, because we had people from Japan, senior stakeholders from Japan. We had people from Italy, from Milan, I think from Czech Republic as well,
Yeah.
an Argentinian, by the way, an Indian, so diversity as a whole. But it was an amazing experience to properly introduce those diversity and how they needed to understand those audiences across the markets.
Right, so media agency in the room as well, yeah.
It was an internal one. It was a 2-day workshop, amazing brainstorming across the teams. But I think what I take from this was 3 little things: is work together between us and Panasonic, TGI and Panasonic, working together on that collaborative mode. Listen and learn. We needed to listen and learn what they're doing, where they're going through, And I think a bit of a unicorn across the room is deliver on time and on budget. You know, like it never happens, but we try our best.
Okay, brilliant. And look, I'm interested to understand, obviously you're working so closely together. Is there a need for third parties? Do you need do you need an agency?
The tricky one. Go for it.
I think so. I think everyone brings their expertise to the table. So I do value the creative agencies. I do value the agencies who do our media planning, you know. But I think having TGI on one side or the market research partners, we are, as Insight team, we are like in the middle. We are the bridge between our marketing teams and our agencies. And it's just that the briefing to the agencies has become so much better, but we do need them. I don't think we are there yet.
It's not full in-house operation.
No. But yeah, we do need our agencies.
For me, you know, like in Kantar Media and TGI, definitely we work with agencies. We work with brands, with media owners. It's super important. It's one of our biggest business in TGI, and but definitely we try to take that joint collaboration where brands and agencies are kind of like working together, not in silos, you know, like where they can expand and discuss on the same consumer insights tools, just to expand and bring that different approach or that different understanding from each person who interprets the data. So definitely we encourage that same route as well.
Look, we're nearly out of time.
Yeah, that was 0, 0, 0,
I know,
0.
the clock's going. What's the future of what you're doing with Panasonic and the kind of insights that you're bringing in? Where's that leading, and what's the future of the partnership?
So for me, future of Insight is here to stay. I've created a new way of working, and we are still a very, very strongly tech company. So I created an online training during lockdown and just made it accessible to all our colleagues, even in Japan, translated it in Japanese. And now I have about 560 people learning about Insight and how to use Insight in marketing. It's a very, very different approach for a tech company. But I've started small and now it's going, and I think the management recognize it. We have some very good success stories, the one with Boots, for example, and I'll show another quick video on hairdryer. But I think we have started on this journey, and we have some good partnerships. I think they are here to stay, and we are on a good track. So we are going places. We are going places.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we are going places.
For me as well, like keep on working on that partnership, on that collaboration, be seen as an extension of their team, joining those conversations, bringing that added value to the table, and yeah, on the same path.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Did you have a quick
Yeah,
last
a
video
quick,
to show on what
Oh,
we've...
one more.
Yeah.
Play, and it will come.
Brilliant.
On mute.
No worries.
So lots of exciting
Yes.
innovations where you
Yes.
see driven by insights,
Yeah, absolutely.
reaching the right consumers. That's it. It sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Hopefully it sounds pretty good to you too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Please, put your hands together.